Right now at noon, President Trump doubling down on his decision to send military troops to Los Angeles, what the administration is saying about their role. Plus, a Wisconsin group suing Elon Musk for his attempts to sway voters in the state's last Supreme Court election. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Spreiter. Right now, a Rock County family is asking for your help after their 2-year-old was killed following a crash. According to the Rock County Sheriff's Office, the young girl and her family were on U.S. Highway 14 near South Van Allen Road in the town of La Prairie on Sunday when their vehicle was rear-ended. The 2-year-old suffered life-threatening injuries and was taken to the hospital by MedFlight. The family confirmed her death in an online fundraiser. The family's GoFundMe says the child passed away early Tuesday morning. The GoFundMe is up for those who would like to support the child's parents. So far, it has raised more than $19,000 with a goal of $28,000. Thousands are taking to the streets across the country to protest immigration and customs enforcement, with the epicenter in Los Angeles. City officials there say most demonstrators in LA are obeying the law. However, they say more than 20 businesses in LA have been looted, prompting a curfew in a small part of the city overnight. Despite the governor's objections, National Guard members have deployed to LA. Hundreds of Marines mobilized by President Trump have received briefings on the rules for using force on American soil. Back here at home, Governor Evers says he's concerned about the immigrants in Wisconsin.
We have tens of thousands of people working in the state of Wisconsin in our farm, looking cows, doing everything possible in a manufacturing area, in a tourism area. And if suddenly those people disappeared, the 25.8% in transportation that we're seeing, billions of dollars, all that will disappear. And I don't know who the hell's going to milk the cows.
Meanwhile, when asked about the protests, Senator Ron Johnson drew parallels to protests in Kenosha back in 2020.
We have the experience in Wisconsin where Governor Evers refused to call it the National Guard, and he let Kenosha burn, and then President Trump sent in the National Guard, and Kenosha stopped burning. So the reason you send in massive manpower is to prevent violence.
Now, when asked about the 2020 protests in Kenosha, Governor Evers says he did not have the same experience as Governor Newsom. On August 24th that year, Governor Evers, who was the one who activated the National Guard one day before the Trump administration talked to him, he also accepted federal troops from the Trump administration after initially turning down that federal help. President Trump says his deployment of troops in Los Angeles in response to protests there could be just the start, and other cities should take notice. Natalie Brand has those new developments.
President Trump is defending his decision to deploy the National Guard and Marines to Los Angeles in response to protests over ICE raids.
It can only go right by having the military. It de-escalates. I mean, that was the only way.
The administration says the troops are providing protection for federal law enforcement and federal buildings.
Law enforcement, they need to have their hands untied where they can do their jobs.
Under federal law, active duty military cannot be used for domestic law enforcement purposes unless the president invokes the Insurrection Act. So far, he has not done that.
We're hoping it's going to get under control. We hope the curfew will work, and we're going to continue to do everything we can to keep California safe.
With protests popping up in more cities and more demonstrations planned for this weekend, coinciding with a military parade in Washington, D.C. for the Army's 250th birthday, President Trump had this warning.
For those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force.
This is really authoritarian.
Former Republican Senator Chuck Hagel, who also served as defense secretary in the Obama administration, is concerned about politicizing the military.
That's what our senior officers are worried about and will continue to worry about as to how the president further intends to use the military against American citizens.
President Trump also announced at Fort Bragg Tuesday he is restoring the names of 7 Army bases originally named for Confederate military figures. Congress had ordered those name changes, which were completed under President Biden. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Elon Musk says he went too far in his social media posts about Donald Trump. This comes after his net worth took a big hit from their recent fallout. The Bloomberg's Billionaires Index says Musk's net worth was close to $500 billion after the president was elected to the White House. As of Sunday, it had plunged to $342 billion. Musk is still the world's wealthiest person, but Mark Zuckerberg is in second with $246 billion, followed closely by Jeff Bezos with $234 billion. The Wisconsin Democracy Campaign and 2 Wisconsin voters are suing Elon Musk over his role in the state Supreme Court race earlier this year. The lawsuit alleges Musk violated Wisconsin laws that prohibit offering any money over $1 to go to the polls, vote and/or vote for a specific candidate. Musk twice offered money to voters during the Supreme Court race. First, voters could receive $100 if they signed a petition opposing activist judges. Those who signed the petition could get more money if they successfully referred to other Wisconsin voters to sign it. During the campaign, Musk handed out $1 million checks as awards to some voters who signed the petition. In a video posted on America PAC's X account, a recipient of one of the checks urged others to sign the petition, refer others, and vote for Schimmel. Now, first check of your forecast. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano is out on the weather patio today. Very warm outside.
Yeah, definitely a very June-like day out here. Kind of unlike what we've seen, especially earlier this week on Monday, where we had highs only in the 60s. Certainly a lot different from that. And as we look at the current temperatures, some areas already in the 80s, and everyone is expected to get into the 80s before the day is over. Now, taking a look at the air quality, it's right now at moderate levels. And the good news is that it's not expected to get worse. So over the next couple of days, at worst, it will be at the moderate level, which is certainly some good news considering we have seen some lower air quality days over the past week, but it looks like things are starting to improve just a little bit. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, we are seeing some light showers right now, but most of the area hasn't seen any rain and will likely not see rain for the next several hours. But we are expecting some thunderstorms later tonight. So looking at the forecast for the rest of the day, we are expecting plenty of sunshine. Right now, we're kind of seeing a little bit of cloud cover, but sunny skies for the later afternoon and evening hours. But once we get closer to sunset, that's when we're going to start to see some of those showers and thunderstorms move through our area, and they could bring some severe weather with it as well. And these are going to continue for most of the overnight hours, but especially from around 8 p.m. to midnight, that's when we could see that severe weather, but some rain is still possible as we head into Thursday morning. So I'll continue talking more about that a little bit later, but first, this afternoon, definitely enjoy it. If you like the warm temperatures, it definitely will be a bit warm out here. Right now, not too bad with the cloud cover, but when the sun comes out, it is going to definitely feel pretty warm, but it is going to be the warmest day going forward. So I'll talk more in detail about the temperatures and the rain all coming up a little bit later.
All right, feeling like summer out there. Thank you. At the state capitol, the legislature's budget writing committee is working on the state budget. One agency budget approved so far is the Wisconsin Supreme Court system. This led to a rare sight, a sitting justice in the courtroom. That's because the legislature was debating the creation of a state marshal program. This would create a law enforcement agency to help protect Supreme Court justices.
I don't think we believe we want to create a new police force just for the Supreme Court.
I think if I could add to that, the Capitol Police protects the Capitol for visitors, employees, legislators, the court, whoever happens to be here. I think they do a good job.
The Joint Finance Committee returns to the state capitol tomorrow to approve education funding and income taxes for Wisconsin. Coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, what new piece of legislation looks to raise the federal minimum wage? Plus, how the economic forecast is looking from the World Bank.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley introduced legislation to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 per hour. The Higher Wages for American Workers Act would increase the minimum wage standard starting in 2026 and also call for increases in subsequent years to match inflation. The World Bank issued a new forecast saying it expects lower economic growth around the world this year. Without mentioning President Trump by name, the International Development Organization cited a, quote, substantial rise in trade barriers. The World Bank predicted that the U.S. economy would grow by 1.4% this year, half as fast as it did last year. And TikTok has just over a week left to find a buyer to remain online in the U.S. Congress last year passed a bill forcing TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell the platform due to national security concerns. President Trump already extended the deadline twice and is reportedly considering a third reprieve. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow is up 166 points, NASDAQ up 12, and the S&P 500 up 4. Pam has the farm report next, then Jacob is tracking the first warn forecast. Later on Live at 4, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company joins us to answer your plant questions. You can email them now to tips@channel3000.com. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report on a Wednesday afternoon. Hi, Pam.
Hey, Josh, keeping an eye on the sky. I just got done talking to Dr. Sean Conley, our University Extension small grain specialist, starting to have some disease issues pop up in our winter wheat because of this cool, wet weather, and we're just not getting the degree growing units that we'd like to see to move this crop along, so a developing story there. One story that we already know about is our new state director for the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Rural Development Agency. That's headquartered up in Stevens Point. Andrew Iverson has taken over the position as state director. No stranger to Wisconsin. He's a native. He's lived here his whole life. His family is living in rural Wisconsin right now. He said one of his major goals is to try to get around Wisconsin, helping people and communities better understand what rural developments can do for them and with them, the resources that are available. He says USDA's Rural Development Group has a lot of projects already ongoing, anything from helping first-time home buyers get into their first forever home, right on through to helping communities work on things like senior citizen housing. So it's a lot deeper than just working with, for example, farms in rural communities and value-added projects. Andrew Iverson, our new state director for USDA's Rural Development Agency up in Stevens Point. And here's a fun one. This 15-year-old young lady is about to embark on a pretty important trip in her young life. Her name is Addison Conley. She's 15 years old from Galesville, and she and her 6-year-old border collie Cooper have secured a spot on Team USA for the Junior Open Agility World Championship coming up next month in Portugal. She did it all through her 4-H project with her dogs. That dog is one smart cookie, I'll tell you. She started off using hand signals. Now it's all vocal. And that dog, Cooper, the border collie, has to be told whether to go left or right. Has that down, no problem. And in total, she's got 7 different commands just to help Cooper maneuver the jumps in that agility course. Good luck to Addison and Cooper on their way to Portugal. And that's another example of how Wisconsin 4-H can open up wonderful opportunities for kids that are involved. It's more than just showing cattle. All right. Tonight, big night at the Wisconsin FFA convention. Look for more pictures tomorrow on the stars over Wisconsin, FFA members excelling in areas, and also some of our special adult honorees. Barrel cheese today down a half at $185.5. 40-pound block cheese drops 2 at $186. Well, the AA butter today back up 2.5 cents, $2.53 a pound. Addison talks pretty passionately about her dog Cooper. Josh, she says he's a once-in-a-lifetime dog, and they are so tightly bonded. Cooper, the dog, right now going through all of his health vet checks to make sure he can get on the plane to go with Addison to Portugal coming up next month.
Oh, that's so cool. And I think it just goes to show just how much of an impact we can have right here in Wisconsin worldwide.
Yeah, for sure. And 4-H, excellent mechanism to tell the story.
Absolutely. All right, Pam, have a good afternoon. Thank you.
See you later.
Well, we are tracking some breaking news from the music industry this hour. Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys visionary and leader, has died. Wilson's family posted the news of his death to his website and social media accounts. Further details are not immediately available. The eldest and last surviving of the 3 musical brothers, Brian and his fellow Beach Boys, rose in the 1960s from local California band to national hitmakers to international ambassadors of surf and sun. Brian Wilson was 82 years old. Well, today, hundreds of outgoing West High seniors return to elementary school. The annual senior walk at Randall Elementary brings them back to the halls they once walked to celebrate their futures. This afternoon, the soon-to-be graduates will walk through the school wearing their caps and gowns. Current students and teachers at Randall Elementary will applaud and cheer as they pass by. West High seniors will graduate on Saturday. Well, remember to vote for your favorite people, places, and things in Madison with Madison Magazine's Best of Madison series. Voting runs through June 30th. You can cast 1 vote in each category. And you don't have to live in Madison to vote. The winners will be revealed in the Madison Magazine's October issue. You can find a full list of categories on channel3000.com. We are tracking rain and storms moving in later tonight. Here's meteorologist Jacob Montesano with the first warn forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, we're going to see those thunderstorms, especially tonight. We also could see some rain for Thursday and Friday, although it doesn't look like we'll see quite as much rain Thursday and Friday as we initially thought, but still could see some of that precipitation. And then we'll see some 70s over Father's Day weekend with fairly dry conditions as well. Now, before all the rain moves in, it's still going to be a very nice, very warm afternoon, as highs will be in the middle to upper 80s, could even flirt with some lower 90s in southwestern Wisconsin. But when those storms roll through, they could bring some severe weather. Right now, marginal risk for Madison, but a slight risk in southwestern Wisconsin. Now, this is mostly for wind and hail. The tornado risk is just about zero, so it's not going to likely produce that kind of severe weather, but we still could see some strong winds and some minor hail as well. Taking a look at the hazards, could also see some minor flooding as well. But again, the tornado risk is just about zero with this round of severe weather. But let's take a look at the timing of the forecast. We are going to be dry throughout the rest of the day, at least until around sunset, when we'll start to see those showers and thunderstorms move into the western portion of our area. They are going to dissipate a little bit as they push from west to east, but still could see some of that severe weather for Madison. Areas far off to the north will see rain for sure, but the severe weather risk does decrease the further north you're located. And the initial round of severe weather will mostly be before midnight, but we're still going to see some showers and thunderstorms continue throughout the night and into Thursday morning. Now, once we get to Thursday, again, some rain in the morning for sure, but then it looks like we actually will dry up for a lot of the area during the day. Still could see some scattered showers, especially for places north of Madison, but it is possible that once the rain dries up Thursday morning, we may not see any more for the rest of the day. But then as we get towards Friday, again, still going to see those isolated showers and maybe a few storms as well, but it's not looking like it'll be widespread. The most widespread rainfall will occur tonight, but we still could see those showers linger for Friday, possibly even into early Saturday as well, although by Saturday afternoon, we're looking like we'll certainly be dry during that time period, although we still may be rather cloudy. Now, looking at the temperature change from today to tomorrow, we're going to see highs in the lower 70s for Madison areas to the north, maybe upper 60s further north. Still could hit 80 in far southern Wisconsin, but it's going to be a noticeable temperature decrease the further north you're located. Now, fast forwarding towards the weekend, more high temperatures will be in the 70s, and overall, it will be a pretty nice Father's Day weekend, all things considered. We are going to see a decent amount of cloud cover with a small chance of some showers throughout the weekend, but nothing is expected to be very continuous, so any outdoor plans you may have for Father's Day definitely could stay. You can keep those plans as well. Now, next week, it does look like we are going to see those 80s return, at least on a consistent basis. A lot of next week will have high temperatures right near average, and yes, this time of year, 80s will be at the average by the time we get towards next week. So a very June-like forecast is expected. Temperatures not going to be too far off from normal, and we are going to see several chances of rain, and this is the rainiest time of the year. Kind of could put a chance of rain just about any day this time of the year, and that looks like that will be the case, although for the weekend, it doesn't look like we'll see much.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Now let's see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Today, we're making a fill-you-up main dish that's so good, you won't have to turn your oven on all summer long. So stick around and I'll show you what I mean. When it comes to getting dinner on the table night after night, it can get pretty challenging. So I want to share a recipe that'll help you out when you just don't know what to make. As the weather gets warmer, we start craving dishes that are lighter, but we still want ones that'll satisfy our family. The recipe that we're whipping up today is one of my personal favorites. We start by adding some diced tomatoes to a head of chopped romaine, along with a good amount of corn, black beans that we've drained and rinsed, a bit of diced red onion, and a handful of shredded cheddar. We set that aside for a sec and toss a good amount of cooked chicken that we've cut up into cubes with some barbecue sauce. We put the chicken on and drizzle on some ranch dressing. You can serve this as is, but I like to pop it in the fridge for a few minutes before serving it. A few tortilla strips go on top, and it's time to ring the dinner bell. The sweet and tangy barbecue sauce, along with the cool ranch, makes this a perfect combo. To get the recipe for our south of the border chicken salad, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a tasty change of pace kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's Jacob with the final check.
Yeah, we're going to see dry conditions for the rest of today, but storms are expected later tonight. Could see some severe weather with those storms, with hail and wind being the only hazards expected. And then we could see some continuous rainfall Thursday and Friday, but a lot of those days may actually be fairly dry. And then the weekend is looking even drier with comfortable temperatures and then 80s with more storm chances for next week.
All right, Jacob. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at noon. The Bold and the Beautiful is coming up next. Our next newscast is coming up live at 4 p.m. And remember, you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.